And therefore, this takes us to a more interesting understanding. Jesus, the second Adam, came to lift the first Adam from the throes of hell. Mary, the second Eve, accompanying her son to the victory podium through the cross. Let us look a little bit at this. What is this first Adam and first Eve all about? In the scripture, we have a very interesting terminology called typology. Typology. And typology simply refers to the type. Let me give you an example. Adam was the first man, and Jesus is called as the second Adam because he is the type of Adam. He becomes a typology for Adam. Or Eve, for example, is the first woman in the Bible. And Mary is the type of Eve. Mary is the type of Eve. And therefore, we have here what is called as typology. So here we see the first Eve, the woman. Eve means the woman, who was the mother of mankind, succumbed to the wiles of Satan's cunningness and deception. We read this in Genesis chapter 3, how Adam and Eve got tricked into eating the apple or the fruit, and eventually man fell from his grace. The first Adam, the man, the father of mankind, succumbed to Eve, succumbed to his wife Eve, and he also ate the fruit of the womb. The first Adam and Eve, they had an act of disobedience, and disobedience is simply meaning a lack of listening. They refused to listen to God's commandment. And when we refuse to listen to God's commandment, we enter into an act and sin of disobedience. They lacked the spirit of humility. They began to think of themselves as God. They were tricked into believing that they could become like God. And both an attitude of disobedience and an attitude of lack of humility led to their fall, their sin, and eventually they lost paradise. The second Adam, Jesus, and the second Eve, Mary, repaired the damage done by Adam and Eve. Disobedience was repaired by the obedience of Mary and Jesus. We know that Jesus was the obedient Son of God, and Mary, the obedient daughter of God. The pride of Lucifer and his demons was repaired by the humility of Mary and Jesus. We read this in Philippians. Even though his status was God, he became humble to accept the status of a slave and become lower than men. And because of this, God exalted him. Eve said no to God's commandments. Mary said yes to the invitation of God. She became the handmaid of the Lord. Adam participated in Eve's no. Jesus participated in Mary's yes. Not my will, but your will be done, he said in the Garden of Gethsemane.